Welcome to the Hunt 360 podcast. I'm E3 King here with Jeremy Williams, founder of Hunt 360, and our special guest, Jason Price with The Experience. Jason, how you doing?
Good. I'm not sure how special I am, but glad to be here with you guys.
Yeah, glad to have you.
Yeah, Jason, I've followed you for a couple years, like you know, and I love watching the videos. I mean, you got a tremendous passion for what you do, and it's just been great to watch you excel at doing it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It started with nothing, and it's still not that much, but we got some really cool videos, and a lot of cool people been a part of that. So
yeah, well, I would like to know a little bit about you, where you come from, and what gave you the passion to start your hunting career.
So I started hunting when I was a little kid. I'm from Texas, so I think that's part of the DNA of anybody born in Texas. You have to go whitetail hunting. It's almost a necessity. If you don't do it, you're probably an outcast. But my uncle really introduced me to hunting. That's the only person I had that was really interested in hunting. But he was one of those, what we call it today, off-the-grid type guys. I mean, this guy was out there. But I just related to him. He took me to the mountains when I was 9 years old. We went to Arkansas, and I can remember he was trying to teach me the value of the things that I had, and also he was trying to teach me how important it was to keep the things that I had with me that would keep me safe. And I had a canteen that I had used. I just bought it at Walmart. This thing was probably like $8 canteen or something, and I'd carried it with me and got to the top of the mountain. And we slept on the mountain, and on my way down, I realized probably 3/4 of the way down that I didn't have my canteen, and so I just said, I lost my canteen. Well, now you have to remember I'm 9 years old, and he's like, well, you have to go back and get it. So I had no idea where this thing was. He gave me a compass. I went back up. I got the canteen and came back down. It wasn't until a couple years ago he told me he followed me, but I had no idea. I was scared to death. But it lit a fire in me, really, because I just like being in the outdoors, and aside from hunting, the camping part of it was really cool, and I buried my food so I could come back and find it, and it was really cool. He was teaching me like what it meant to be out there alone. I braided my own rope, put a little wax on the end of it. I thought I was, something pretty cool. But
this is actually really cool. I mean, this is exactly the stuff I think. For my son, watching my son grow, and as other kids, give them that experience so it lights a fire in them just like that. I mean, it's that's the same way with me as my kids. If I was a kid growing up hunting with my mom and dad, my dad and my grandfather, that was my time with my dad on the weekends, was to go hunting, whitetail hunting, just the same, and it just, it grew a passion in me as well. But it's awesome to see what you're talking about there. I can feel it. I can see it in your eyes as you talk about it.
It seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
But that was really the beginning of it, and obviously from there it progressed into hunting. And like I said before, whitetails was kind of that avenue for all of us guys in Texas. And I hunted, those every year. I can remember, the weekend before deer season was probably the most exciting, checking shell cramas and making sure the feeders were full. And, we get to hunt with feeders in Texas, so don't anybody knock me. I would do it again and more often because it's a lot of fun just to see the deer. And the filming actually started, kind of a small part of the filming started then. I had this deal called Brown Down Productions, and it was just me and my buddies just filming whitetail hunts. And so that was kind of where the idea of all of this started years ago. So
that's cool. I mean, you just continued on with your passion and watch it grow. And so it's amazing when you find something you love, and it can take off if you.
It really is.
If you, like you say, you told me earlier, throwing the noodles against the wall, and
some of them stick. Yeah, some of them pop. I mean, some of our films. I personally think all of our films are really good, but I'm biased. But some of them take off, and some of them do really well. If I knew that formula, then I'd probably be giving seminars for how to grow YouTube pages. So,
well, I think that all of them are great. I have not watched one yet I didn't enjoy.
Yeah, thank you.
That tour hunt. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a cool hunt.
That terrain was so man, it's just a beautiful place.
Yeah, it really is. That was one of those hunts that, some of them you do they're so physical, or there's just in any international hunt there's a lot of travel involved. The airplanes are fine, but it's the vehicle travel that really wears me out. Like I find myself here lately just asking, well, how long are we going to be in a car? Because some of these trips are really long. I'm just fresh off a trip from Pakistan. I was either in a car, on a plane, or at the airport for 110 hours. Well, that's a long time. And it makes it tough. I mean, I love hunting and I love being in the outdoors, but you put somebody in a car for that long or in an airplane, you kind of get cabin fever. But those are cool experiences.
So what'd you do in Pakistan?
Oh, well, I drove a lot. I was in airplanes a lot.
Yeah.
I hunted Sindh ibex and Blandford ural in the southern part of Pakistan. And in the northern part, I hunted the Himalayan ibex. And the Himalayan ibex gave me a new perspective on, I got a new hunting difficulty scale.
Yeah.
So I scale hunts from 1 to 10 of how difficult they are. And again, that's relative because anyone could go somewhere and have an easy hunt because the animals are just low, or it could happen. I've had some easy hunts and I've had some hard hunts. But so before the Pakistan trip, the Himalayan ibex in specific, I had the scale of 1 to 10, and I would say the Tur hunt was probably a 7. I mean, it's pretty steep. It's pretty physical. So on a 1 to 10, it was a 7. After the Himalayan, it is now a 4. So the Himalayan is a 9. I don't give anything a 10, but it was a difficult hunt, and partially because I probably wasn't as mentally prepared as I usually am. So
I mean, they were just high.
Yeah, they were super high. There was no snow. So I started out at 6,000 feet at 2 o'clock in the morning. And a little backstory of that is we carry camera guys with us everywhere we go. But on this particular part of the hunt, my camera guy Sawyer was in the hospital with food poisoning and dehydrated. And I'm not sure if anybody's interested or your listeners are interested in knowing how much 2 bags of IVs cost in Pakistan, but it's 10 cents if anyone wants to know. It's pretty cheap. Maybe 5 cents for the 2 bags and 5 cents for the doctor.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not sure how it breaks down, but so I start at 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm at 6,000 feet elevation and shoot the ibex at 14,000 feet at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And, the physical part of it wasn't that bad as far as conditioning. I felt good. I think I almost went to a spiritual place the whole time because I was praying my way up the mountain. But it was just dangerous. It was sketchy. It's probably one of the more technical ones I've done. I think I had probably a little anxiety just fearing for my life on it. But those are the hunts you remember. I mean,
oh yeah,
they're not fun when they're happening, but when you step back and you tell the story, it's really cool.
I agree. It is a cool story to hear all that kind of stuff. I love sitting back and watching all those videos or hearing the stories from the people. Have you done Blue Sheep yet?
I have not. So where the Himalayan ibex was, I was just below the Blue Sheep. So I actually went almost to the Blue Sheep camp. And the way the Blue Sheep works in Pakistan, you arrived kind of at this base camp type deal, which is somebody's house. And then you hike for about 9 hours that day to another transition point, which is another house. And then from there, the next day, it's another 9-hour hike to get into the hunting area. I mean, it's one of the, it's perceived as one of the most difficult hunts in the world. I can't really comment on it because I haven't done it yet, but that's something I have planned for next year. So hopefully I'm a little bit more mentally prepared on that hunt than I was on the Himalayan ibex because I was not.
I'm excited
prepared.
to see that. So where you stand on your where you on your Grand Slam for your or you got your 30 or your super or
no that's way above me. I am 1 sheep away from my North American Grand Slam. I tried to complete it last year. I went with an incredible outfit in Alberta. I never saw a legal ram. I saw some great broomed off rams, a couple 10-year-old rams, but just the Alberta rules, they're just a little weird. It almost incentivizes you to shoot younger rams because they're not broomed. So like a tipped ram's going to be full curl and you can shoot it, but a broomed ram's not, so you can't. Yep. So a little crummy. So I saw some really good rams, but just none that they were legal. I'm going back again this year to hopefully finish up the Grand Slam. I'm really close to the Capra Slam. I think I'm 1 or 2 animals away, and I'm probably 4 animals away on the Ovis. So my goal from the beginning was kind of doing the Triple Slam, which is the North American Grand Slam, the Capra Slam, and the Ovis Slam. That was just kind of my goal. And
yeah, that's a great goal.
Yeah, no, and when I really made that goal, honestly, I thought it was unattainable. And there's times even on the mountains that I feel like that it's still unattainable. But I'm getting closer, and that's not what drives me to do the hunt. On the Pakistan video that's not out yet, I think I've said multiple times, subconsciously, I'm probably looking for that mountain that beats me. And, I thought I might have found it in the Himalayas there in Pakistan, but I was able to overcome that. But I do think as sheep hunters, we're all looking for that next challenge, and that whether it's hunting or in life. I mean, I'm always looking for a challenge, and I know that I'm going to find one that beats me, especially as I get older. But it's pretty fun just to be out there. So the list is cool. Definitely from an educational standpoint and from a commerce standpoint to create interest. I mean, the people here at the Wild Sheep Foundation are selling hunts because, us as hunters know more about those animals. So there's an opportunity for people to sell them. So there's a lot of good benefit to doing it. But for me personally, it's the challenge of it. And I just love being in the outdoors, and I love chasing sheep in particular. And ibex are probably the hidden gem of all of it because they're a lot cheaper than the sheep, and they're just
cool.
as hard to hunt. Yeah,
They're cool looking too.
Yeah, some of them are really cool. Those tur, like you were talking about before, they're almost prehistoric. Yeah. Those things look super cool, and I mean, I could see tur on the mountainside, and they all look different. It was so I think, and that's why I said that's probably one I would go back and do because, I think I could go shoot 2 or 3 more tur, and none of them look alike.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. So tell us a little bit about what do you do to get prepared, like physically? I mean, what's your physical workout and all that to get prepared for these?
So I work out every day. I don't do CrossFit, but I do like a lot of weights with no rest. I don't do a ton of cardio throughout the year, although I'll build up to that right before I go on hunts. I stay relatively lean. My biggest problem on most of these hunts is on the hunt itself. So I'll lose 10 to 12 pounds on every single hunt. So for me, really before the hunt, I'm just trying to build up enough reserves to be good on day 14, 15, or day 16. So mine's a little bit more tailor-made to me. And I mean, I recommend anyone going on a sheep hunt just to be in the best possible shape you could be in. I probably leave some on the table every time just because I feel like I could always be in a little bit better shape. But it definitely makes the hunts more enjoyable when you can climb without spitting up blood.
Yeah, that would be...
I made it sound real extreme there, by the way, just so it sounded cool. I think I've only done that once. Yeah.
So do you put a little more emphasis on having more muscle mass going in? Just
muscle mass is like a real killer. Because obviously muscle mass requires more oxygen to feed the muscles. And, some of the places I go, especially in the mountainous places, the altitude gets pretty steep. You take Tajikistan, for example. I shot a Marco Polo at 16,995 feet. And I remember because I actually went up 5 more feet just to say I was at 17,000. And like the Pakistan trip we just talked about, 14,000 feet. I live at 300 feet elevation. So there's nothing I can do to emulate that altitude other than just being in the best possible shape I can be in. I've been on hunts where I had more muscle mass and I felt like I was just out of gas or out of air faster than when I showed up lean. It sounds terrible, but I really try to show up with a little bit more fat than normal. So just eat as much as I possibly can 2 or 3 weeks before so that it kind of levels out. Because for me, the hardest thing is the weight variations throughout the year.
Well, tell us a little bit about the experience. I mean, what's your goals with experience? And I know it's grown very good and very well. And
yeah, it's luck. I mean, we put out good content, I think, and it caught on organically from the beginning, which we were extremely lucky to have. And on top of luck, it was people. I had some really good people that believed in what it was I was planning on doing, or. A lot of these people from a sponsorship standpoint, I'm walking up to, and they have no idea who I am or what I'm doing. But a lot of them believed in me from the beginning, and that was really cool. But the people on the inside of the experience, some that aren't with us today, but they were a very integral part of us being successful in the beginning. Dallas Haymeyer was a huge part of our initial growth. I've had some phenomenal camera guys. Dan Catlin, one of my best friends, he just reaches a different demographic than I could or can reach. And now we have TJ Sanchez that's come in with us. And again, TJ and I share a lot of the same demographic, but his passion for hunting is super contagious. Not to pinpoint camera guys, but Sawyer Peacock, he's become part of my family. But I just think it's luck, it's people, it's the right place at the right time. Yep. And I wish I had the formula. It would be pretty cool.
When you believe in yourself, you can taught others to believe in you as well.
I'm not sure I did that so much, and maybe not even that much, today. But I just at the end of the day, or really the beginning of the experiences, I just had the right people and it was the right place and right time. I wanted to showcase hunting and not an individual. And I thought there was a much bigger upside to that, as opposed. I think every individual has a ceiling. I mean, some of us are different than others. Mine's way lower than most. But as a group of people, or if we're showcasing actually the experience of hunting, well, that becomes, it's entertainment, and there's a much bigger audience that is going to appeal to.
Not only that, what I respect about your show, it's real entertainment. There's not no go back and crop all the what.
We just do a good job of hiding it. They have to cut out a lot of my cuss words, a lot of my stupid things. But we're going to start showing some of those stupid things, hopefully, like me leaving my boots outside my sleeping bag in -20 and they freeze like a rock. I mean, I've got my Coke and Snickers in my sleeping bag, but my boots are on the outside. I mean, I need to prioritize that a little bit better. I mean, it's just, stupid things like that. So I do something stupid probably at least once a day on every hunt, and it's usually captured on film. So I'm quite sure that'll be rolling out soon.
Well, that should be very entertaining.
Keep our eyes peeled.
Yeah, it'll be entertaining because you guys will realize just how dumb I am when it comes to stuff.
Whatever.
I luck into a lot of it.
You downplay yourself too much here. I mean,
I'm not sure.
It's great to sit here and talk to you. I mean, I do respect what you've done.
Yeah.
I mean, you've come a long ways. And really in a short, not that. Short
It really has.
time.
I mean, I think we're just beginning our 4th year. YouTube's been a great platform for us. It's been really flexible for the content that we're putting on there. TV's a little different. I mean, my personal opinion is, the linear model of TV is dying somewhat. From a sponsorship standpoint, especially, just because that stuff, there's no residual to it. On YouTube, there's a constant residual to our content. I mean, we have some films that we did 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, a couple that come to mind is Devin Lennard's Elk Hunt. I mean, that film is one of the best elk films on YouTube, and it gets a ton of views still today. I mean, that's 3 years ago. TV can't compete with that. I mean, we have a moose hunt, same way. I mean, TV just can't compete with that type of model.
I agree. I mean, TV's the YouTube or streaming is definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
And all the analytics for the sponsors to bounce back off of.
And they're super accurate. We have the Nielsen rating in TV, and I'm not sure how much I believe in that. But the YouTube analytics, and actually the YouTube analytics are even getting better. Over the last 2 or 3 years, I've noticed they're fine tuning some of that stuff. So it's really cool, and it's a great platform for us. There's a lot of good growth. We have a lot of new people coming involved this year, a lot of new companies, and we're trying to create a channel and not a show. We want to make sure that it showcases the experience of hunting and not an individual.
Good. So what about some your future goals for your hunting? What's your future hunting goals? You shoot from the hip, or do you got something?
No, I mean, I kind of systematically, pick what I can do or when I can do it. I mean, some of these hunts take a lot of time. I mean, some of them are super expensive, and you gotta figure out, the best way that you can do it. And obviously, I'm looking for one that, I'm passionate about, that would also resonate with people watching. Which is kind of a little bit of a unicorn. I mean, sometimes what I'm super passionate about may not do so well on the channel, but in the end, if I'm not passionate about it, I'm probably not going to do it at all. So I just keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully more people get involved with it, and it gets a more broader base. And I think it'll continue to grow if I can do that.
Well, it was an honor talking to you, and it's just very entertaining watching the experience. And
I appreciate you watching. In fact, I can see you on the analytics because I only got like 2 people watching, and I'm assuming you guys are those too.
So we'll have your channel on our page.
Well, I appreciate that.
And we're directing people right to your YouTube channel to watch it.
It's really cool what you guys are doing, and I appreciate you guys putting some focus on hunting, and it's a cool way you're doing it.
Also, that's what it's about. I mean, I want to create a free way that I can get the younger people back into seeing what hunting was about. To like that core. Yeah. That, like you said, that passion inside
absolutely.
of them. And,
I think my son has that lit pretty hot as well now. So
my son did too. My son shot his first mule deer this year, and it was awesome. It was very emotional for me, and it was very exciting for him, but I mean, it was very
Almost
emotional for
passing the
me.
torch, huh?
Oh, it was something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it was,
Yeah, they would say, like, I just remember the older people when I started out hunting telling me, you know, it's so much more exciting for, you know, me to see your excitement in it. And I was like, no, there's no way it's more exciting than getting to hunt yourself. But really now with my son, and I mean, I got to take my daughter to Africa when she was younger, one of my daughters, and man, there's nothing like it. I'll trade me getting to hunt for them to have an opportunity any day.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so much more fun to watch them grow and have that experience. And it's more of an experience for me too, is seeing it happen.
So I don't know what we're gonna do because my son hates the camera, so I gotta work on that.
I hate it too.
Yeah.
So
It took some time. I mean, it takes a lot of work to get to that point where it doesn't bother you, but at first it's definitely tricky. But thank you guys for having me. You guys do an incredible job. Your platform's growing as well from the first time I saw it 2 years ago. So thank you for having me on.
thank you, sir.
All right.
Have a good day.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you.